One of the most insane political developments that I've noticed over the past couple of years are California politicians, specifically Governor Gavin Newsom himself, spending money on a propaganda campaign in order to tell Floridians that California is absolutely awesome, it's first class all the way, and all the problems that you're hearing related to the state of California, related to certain cities within the state of California, that's just right-wing propaganda. That's just Fox News lies. And in reality, in actuality, things are much worse in the state of Florida, so everybody should stop fleeing the state of California because it's so much better over there. And the thing that's crazy about this is that Governor Newsom spends his campaign funds, he possibly spends taxpayer funds in order to advertise California to Floridians, when in reality, the unpaid propaganda, the actual information from the residents, from the people on the ground, tells you all you need to know, and it's much more powerful than this slick politicians' talking points. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to discuss what happens when a black family ends up going to the city of Oakland. They're there for about a day, and they experience something that is all too common amongst Oakland residents and amongst tourists, which is a car break-in that costs them thousands upon thousands of dollars of stuff that they had in their rental vehicle. Now, we're going to discuss this. We're going to talk about the dire warning that this mother is giving to other people traveling to California. But before we get into that, I want to say thank you to everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
In the Bay Area, a family from Florida traveling to Oakland is sending a warning to out-of-towners. The family was visiting our area to drop off their teen for college when they were bipped and lost important personal documents and thousands of dollars worth of belongings.
So the local news segment leads off with them discussing the dire warning that this mother is issuing to people traveling to California about how lawless it is there. But to give you a bit more background so you can understand what was going on, these people were not regular ordinary tourists to California, to Oakland. They were actually there because their son received a scholarship in order to play football at Lincoln University, which is in and around where this car break-in actually occurred. Now, for you and me and all my people out there in the audience that watch these videos regularly or listen to the podcast, you know that you don't leave anything in your car in the city of San Francisco, in the city of Oakland, because you are subject to the rampant, insanely high amounts of car break-ins that just occur there. But remember, these people are civilians. These people are not avid watchers of the news, so they saw their son get a scholarship to a major city in the United States of America, and they were doing the campus tour thing where they were going to help him move in. But now, after seeing what Oakland really is, they decided they're not going to enroll their son there, scholarship be damned, because it's not safe. And guess what? They're right.
In Oakland, California, you just gotta be careful.
Narisa Murray Watson says she's devastated.
Everything totally gone.
Her family was traveling from Florida to Oakland to register her son, Romel, at Lincoln University. At around 6:15 Saturday evening, they left their rental car parked to pick up food at a nearby Jamaican restaurant.
So one of the things that I often like to talk about on this channel is broken windows policing, which is often attacked by many left-wingers in disingenuous ways, but mostly in ignorant ways. And a lot of the time, the thing that I discuss related to broken windows is that certain crimes where broken windows was initially created and instituted successfully, like jumping the turnstiles in the subway, aren't really transplantable to other cities in other parts of the country. But one of the things that broken windows often focuses on is blight. The idea that something looks abandoned, looks like it's not being watched, looks like it's not being taken care of, therefore that draws in bad people to commit crimes in those areas. And I just want you to see all the different bits of graffiti that are not being cleaned up in this area, that show that it's dilapidated, that show that you can get away with stuff, and think about that as we progress through this story.
Only to find broken glass and 5 suitcases stolen.
$3,000 in the bag my husband put under the seat with 3 passports, 3 social security, his high school diploma, my son's high school diploma, birth certificate, everything totally gone.
Now look, in this particular story, let me be 100% clear. Part of the reason that I'm showing it to you is not only what this woman said, but because this happens to be a black woman. And the reason why I want to highlight this, that this black family, solid together black family, was in fact victimized while they're doing the right thing, is because oftentimes we're told that soft on crime policies, letting these criminals run roughshod over the city, are meant to benefit these very same families. Supposedly, the evil white racist police are just looking for a way to attack these people, and we had to pull back the police in order to protect them. Well, how is that working out for these people that are visiting the city, that have a son on scholarship? Hardworking people, immigrant background, they have their passports, they also have their social security cards, so they are citizens of the United States of America. But as you can see through the course of the video, they appear to be first-generation immigrants, because some of the things that they say shock them about this particular story should be shocking to us as Americans, but unfortunately, due to coverage like mine, due to what you all know about places like Oakland, it is not shocking in the least.
It happened about a block away from the university at 15th and Franklin, and when they got back to their car, they say a witness told them men driving a car without a license plate, masked, broke into their car and stole all their things. Of course, this is something people here in Oakland have seen many times.
So one of the things that's not included in this local news segment is the time of this particular offense, but we can tell from the photo taken by the victims that this actually occurred in daylight. We also have other context clues, like the fact that these people were touring the university. They were only a block away from the university. That would also indicate that this was in the daytime. So imagine that. Imagine living in a city so lawless, so ridiculous, so absurd that people can pull up in a vehicle with no license plates on it, no identifying marks, come out in mass, break into a car, pull 5 suitcases out of the vehicle, and there is no police response. These people were in this restaurant for about 20 minutes. Again, rookie move for anybody who lives in Oakland, but again, these people did not know this level of crime. They're from Florida, a nice area of Florida, where this kind of thing doesn't happen, but this was allowed to go on, and the police weren't there to meet them after this occurred. That witness that told them what happened didn't appear to call the police. Not that it would have mattered in this particular situation, which I will explain to you in just a little bit.
I didn't know that these things happen in America, so it's strange, really, really strange to me.
Now, I know it said part of the reason why I'm covering this particular story is because obviously you have a good black family that are taking their kid to university on scholarship that have been scared away from this left-wing hellhole. But the number one reason why I'm covering this story is what this woman said right there. She doesn't expect this to happen in the United States of America. It's really strange for her to see this in this great nation. That is the kind of mindset of somebody who goes through the process, becomes an American citizen, wants to be a part of America and what they view our country as, and unfortunately, she was greeted with what parts of our country actually are in response to that. And that part is devastating. That part is absolutely heartbreaking. She clearly and obviously, her and her husband, by the way, fathers in the family, raised a good young man, obviously talented in football. He got a scholarship to a university. I don't know how good Lincoln is in terms of college sports, but a scholarship is a scholarship. She goes to take her kid to that university and then suffers this break-in. And by the way, that was only the first victimization, because there is an additional victimization when she decided after this occurred to try to rely on the institutions that she believed in for the United States of America, when she decided to do what any normal person would do in Florida, and she didn't get the response that she would expect in the state of Florida.
She says she called the police but was told to file a report in person at a police station.
To me, it's lawless, because we even called the police 3 times, and they said they can come. We have to come. They can come.
Just think about what they just said right there. The police did not show up to the scene despite the fact that they were called 3 times by the family. The family was so surprised they called them repeatedly to get them to show up for a crime where, by the way, time is of the essence. And considering we know as the background of Oakland that they have things like a do not pursue policy, because why would you pull over a vehicle that has no license plate on it with 3 masked men? What are you, a racist? You stupid racist for even thinking that's a good idea. That led to this crime occurring. occurring, but these people are in complete and utter shock. And by the way, I'm going to explain to you why this policy is so disgusting and manipulative later on in this video when the local news decides that they're going to sprinkle in a stupid tidbit without giving you the full context, or actually without explaining how that tidbit later on links to what they just said right there. But yeah, 3 times, and all they received was the address to the police precinct. People who have never been to the city of Oakland were directed to go to the police to file an in-person report because they couldn't even take a report over the phone. They weren't going to send a unit because they don't have the units, because guess what? Defunded the police, drop in recruitment, all that stuff. You heard this before, but just that idea that they don't even give a damn about one of the #1 crimes going on in their particular city is absurd, but not really when you understand that it's just Oakland.
On top of all the important documents and belongings, they also lost a sleep apnea machine.
Now I started feeling the effect of not sleeping with my sleep-up machine, because like now I start feeling my heart like it's pounding in the mornings when I wake up. Instead I feel rested, I'm not feeling rested.
So they stole the sleep apnea machine, they stole everything, all the documents and all that. This family's probably going to have to deal with identity theft because their social security, their passports, and all that stuff was in the bags. Again, if you are a more seasoned veteran for the city of Oakland, anybody would have told these people not to leave their documents in the vehicle, not to leave anything in the vehicle, because Oakland is overrun by thugs and criminals. But these people expected better of the United States of America. They think America is an aspirational place. And again, that being checked by reality this hard is jarring and upsetting to me.
Now the family is pulling Rommel out of Lincoln University.
Now I have to bring back my son to Florida because it's not safe here.
Now, like I said, she's bringing her son back to Florida because it's not safe in her mind for him to be in Oakland. This is actually an excellent choice. Oakland is a very dangerous place, and fortunately, nobody was hurt in this particular instance. However, the local news has that little tidbit that I'm talking about earlier that I want to bring up to you because they're going to drop it as if it means anything.
Now, we reached out to Lincoln University but did not hear back in time for this report. Meanwhile, the city of Oakland has touted lower crime rates, saying violent crime is down more than 30% from last year. And the most recent crime data says car burglary is down 60%.
So according to this local news report, the Oakland PD says violent crime is down 30% from last year. Now, of course, this was after a dramatic spike, but we're going to set aside the violent crime numbers and focus on the car burglary numbers, because a lot of people on this channel in the comment section will say, Sean, they're manipulating the crime statistics by revising charges down later at woke district attorney's offices like Pamela Price that covers this particular area. But the fact of the matter is that actually does not negatively impact crime reporting, because when the initial report is made, that is when it's documented, that is when the data is made, and it doesn't matter later on whether or not the district attorney decides that they're going to refuse to charge, pursue charges to the fullest extent of the law, or anything like that. The report is the report, and that's what we're measuring when we're looking at reporting data. But a way to actually skew that reporting data is to make it incredibly difficult to report crime. So if in the city of Oakland, after years of rampant car break-ins, record-breaking, off the charts, shutting down businesses like In-N-Out, the first location that ever closed in the history of the company, 76 years, you decide as a policy you're no longer going to take reports unless people show up in person, wait for the police officer to see them, and then file it. That is a trick to suppress reports. Now, this family did show up. They did go through the process. They did initiate a report. But how many Oaklanders who have experienced car break-ins that have never resulted in anything are even going to take the time out of their day to go to a police precinct, file a report in person after waiting a significant amount of time, because those are all tactics used to juke the stats? I mean, really think about what's going on here in the city of Oakland. Nothing has changed in terms of policy that should impact car break-ins. In fact, we're seeing more businesses in an accelerating fashion shut down due to this problem. We're seeing people avoid gas stations due to the fact that these car break-ins are so frequent and so common. So what could possibly lead to a 60% drop in car burglaries in Oakland if they're not doing anything about car burglaries in the city of Oakland? Obviously, what's going on here is that somehow the reports are being suppressed. The mayor, who's in political trouble, appears to be juking the stats. That seems to be what's going on, and the mere fact that they just made it by orders of magnitude significantly more difficult to actually report the crime is proof positive of that. Again, I had a lot of problems when I got my car stolen here in the city of New York. And by the way, this was actually in a nicer neighborhood. I had it boosted through that thing, you know, where they boost your key signal. It's a whole thing. I made 2 videos about it. You could check it out there. But one of the things that happened is that the cops actually showed up to the scene of the crime in order to take the report. We're not at that stage in New York City where you call in a crime that just happened to you, where they could presumably pursue the criminals, who, by the way, are in an unmarked vehicle, who are wearing masks, who are likely to engage in more robberies along the way, and the cops don't show up, they don't bother. In fact, they demand that you show up, and they give you an address to the precinct in order to file a report on paper. So yeah, let's be 100% clear about what's going on. Oakland is suppressing the stats, and Governor Gavin Newsom should spend a lot more time working on the problems in the state of California, working on problems in cities like Oakland, like Los Angeles, like San Francisco, and all these other areas that are experiencing spikes in various categories of crime, rather than advertising to Floridians about how much better California is. Again, this was just a report. This was a thing that happened, that somebody talked about, that got out there in the public, that is being repeated by other people naturally in an organic way, not Newsom's paid propaganda in order to gaslight you into thinking that California is a utopia. It's not. Obviously it's not, and the proof in the pudding is in the taste, but unfortunately there was also pudding in their suitcase which got stolen by these criminals. But you know what? Those are just my thoughts, so let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you liked the video, show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about an Oakland family. This has been me talking about a family fleeing Oakland for Florida. Till next time.